sitting in the kitchen. I heard some of the old slaves talking to their parents, having been stolen from Africa by white men and were sold here as slaves. The whole mystery was solved at once. From that time, I resolved that one day I would run away. I am your fellow man, but not your slave. Frederick Douglas.
The blackness.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's been a while. I ain't been live in a minute. My name is Terrence Bailey. And man, I just had to come on here and speak on this, man. The internet's going crazy. Hey, your boy Umar said, let him hold something. He said, your boy Umar said, let me hold something till Friday. Man, you can't make this stuff up, man. At last count, man, they saying dude pulled in what's reported. Well, I guess what was reported, 1.6 mil. 1.6 mil. And he on social media hollering about, I can't get. All right. This, you know what? I ain't spoke on this in years, man. This mess is making my head hurt. All right. So let's start from the beginning, right? I think it was like 2016, 2017, or whatever. They was talking about. He made the video at St. Paul's College. I think he made that before, but that's when I had, he would start hearing stuff or whatever. And he was talking about the St. Paul's College. He was raising money to buy that, and then he started making excuses saying they're breaking the school up, selling it by parts or whatever. All right, so I couldn't figure out why nobody hadn't called St. Paul's College or talked to the realtor who was in charge of selling that property. So I'm like, why ain't nobody calling him? So I got the realtor's number, and I called the realtor myself. I called the realtor, and this is almost 10 years ago. And the realtor said, Umar Johnson came there with a film crew. He's supposed to come to look at the property. He didn't come look at the property. He came with a film crew, and he filmed that video, that promo or whatever. And the realtor said he'd never seen him again. Say he'd never seen him again after that. He wasn't, keeping tabs and telling the realtor when they're going to have the money. No, none of that stuff. He immediately started raising funds off of that video that he did at St. Paul's College. And that realtor said he never saw or heard from him again. Now, I made a video on that about almost 10 years ago. And we put that out. And man, cognitive dissonance. I don't understand. Man, some people want to have a leader or something. I mean, are we that hopeless as a people to the point where we will any Negro will do that you just follow anybody? The people said we ain't seen no Umar. He raising money for this, but we're not talking to him about buying nothing. And then now we talked about he on the internet saying that he ain't got no money for Mama of Ifa Tunde or whatever, and he got both accounts are frozen. Now let me ask you this. Why? Okay, if you try to get into your personal funds and you can't get into your personal funds, your bank has been frozen. So it's fraudulent activity. Normally when that happens and you say, well, I didn't make this purchase, whatever, that's not me. Okay, we're going to cancel your card. And we're going to send you another card through the mail, and you'll get it in 5 to 10 business days, or to give you the option to have it FedEx to you, signature required. But the odds of your personal and business account being frozen at the exact same time, and then you think to ask, is it something fraudulent that I did? Why would you ask that? For what reason would you ask Is it something fraudulent that I'm being accused of? I don't. That right there. That's just sends alarms off in my head right there. And then the young lady that came up that he was seeing, he had taken care of his mom and all this stuff. Okay, if you talk about being an educator, I'm supposed to trust you with my kid, and my son, and you come on the internet talking about with this woman that you obviously had a relationship with, talking about her personal hygiene. I'm 50 years old. He older than me. As a 50-plus-year-old man talking about a woman's hygiene, who you obviously, like, it wasn't one, like, you wasn't with her one time, it wasn't one or two times. I mean, like, what was it so bad the first time you had to go back and check to see if it was still that bad, and you had to come back 5 or 6, 10, 11 times? And that don't make no sense. And then on top of that, why do we know about it? I mean, we all grown men, right? We're supposed to be grown men. If why does a grown man go and talk about a woman's something that happened behind closed doors? There's nobody business but y'all two. Why do we know about what you're doing behind closed doors? Even if she said something, you know what I'm saying? That tit for tat stuff is for kids. And you talk about you talking about being an educator. It's about owning a school, having kids come to school, and we're supposed to pay you for these kids to go to this school. Tuitions, private schools, so there'll be tuition to be paid. And we are going to put our kids in your care, and you talking about this girl got an aquarium on the internet. I'm lost. And then to get on the internet again, and say, I am without any digital currency. I am without any digital currency. I am without any digital currency. Get a job. Get a job. Get a job. You built like an over-the-road truck driver. Swift is hiring. JB Hunt's hiring. Snyder's hiring. All these, you know what? You can be a truck driver. You built like one, an over-the-road one anyway. That you built like an over-the-road, no-touch freight driver. Get a job. I have a nonprofit. I work every day, and my nonprofit is doing good, better than yours. And we have a board and a CPA. Why would you give money to somebody like who's a CPA? Who's the accountant? You don't know that, do you? Who's on the board? You don't know that, do you? At this point, if you're supporting, sending money to Umar Johnson, bringing him on your show, doing any of this stuff, supporting the BS, you change your name to Boo Boo, last name Fool, middle name Duh, Boo Boo Duh Fool, because that's crazy. That is crazy. Ain't no way in the devil I'd be writing this dude no check, no Cash App, no Venmo. That's another thing too. Like if your personal account has been frozen, from the first he said they had no record of his account. Then he saw somebody else said he was frozen. Okay, it's one or the other. Frozen account for fraudulent activity, 24 hours. You back up. 24 hours. You back up and running. If that, it might just take that phone call. But you should be able to, like, if it's fraudulent activity, you should be able to prove that it wasn't you. They cancel your car, send you out a new one. You get up off your hind parts. You go into the branch and you take out what money you need, and you're going about your business way for your card. But something's not right by the fact that you look into your personal account, you ain't got no money. Then you look into the business account, obviously to take some money out for your personal use. The fact of the matter is that Umar has been living off of that money and the dime off of the black, living off the black community's dime. It wasn't never about no school. He was living off that money. Remember a few years back, he was doing videos laid up in a jacuzzi in Japan. What lecture was he giving in Japan? Who flew him out to Japan? You did. Your donations, you did. He was living off that. That's why there's no the school ain't going. That's why he's collected over 2 million, paid roughly 400,000 for some rundown buildings that are actually in a brownfield. That environmentally, oh my God, then now stuff started to come back to me. I remember being told by an administrator in the city of Wilmington that school would never be permitted. It meaning he would not get a permit to open it. They said that 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, that he's not getting a permit. It's in one of the worst neighborhoods in the nation. Why would you send your child knowingly to a community, a crime-ridden community that has a bunch of registered sex offenders, poor water quality, a liquor store everywhere you look? You would send your child there? I mean, make it make sense. Honestly, at this point, when you see Umar on somebody's podcast or on somebody's show or something like that, you need to be like commenting to the podcaster, like, "Yo, why you wilding? Why is this dude on your show? This dude is a scammer. Why is this dude on your show?" Then somebody told me that he's been trying to get an audience with Captain Ibrahim Traore. No, that need to be locked down ASAP. Like, no. He don't have that brother Traore don't need Umar Johnson problems. He don't. That dude is over there. Now that's a revolutionary. That dude is doing the work. That dude is transforming of all of West Africa. He don't need Umar up in his face, and we don't need him around that brother. They trying to kill that brother as it is. We don't need Umar over there messing with his credibility. We don't. We do not need that. A global black folk on a global scale don't need none of that. But I got to give it up to the young lady, Lenore Stone, I think that's her name, that came out and is. I hope that the other women, because there was women that contacted me some years back, and I was like, "Why don't you come out and say something?" They was like, "No." Now, didn't I send them to me back then about he had pictures of him? I don't know if they did or didn't. They didn't say nothing to me about that. But a lot of them said the same stuff. They said that he was nasty. I had somebody just tell me yesterday. So yeah, she ain't lying. He is nasty. Like filth, environmental wise. It was like, yeah, that's true. And it's like, yeah, a lot of that mess that he portrayed on social media is not real. He does the opposite behind closed doors. And then this lady with the stuff that she's bringing out is like stuff I didn't even think about. But this dude has traveled to probably over 20 countries on y'all's dime that was supposed to be for donations for a school. Y'all pay for that. Y'all looking for a school. Some of y'all who was donating for this school, your kids was in middle school at the time, and now they've grown with kids of their own. Lord have mercy. You got to be slow or just plain dumb, or something got to be wrong with you if you still following this dude. I remember seeing on I was in a chat room, and the people was like, this is like 10 years ago, and people was was bringing out facts and exposing stuff on Umar or what have you, and somebody got in the chat and said, well, if Umar's a fraud, then who's going to lead us? And that right there, that comment right there is the reason for this whole mess. We don't need you don't need a darn soul to lead. You don't need nobody to lead you. You know what need to be done. Use common sense. Open your eyes, look around. You know what I'm saying? Leave the conspiracy stuff alone. And when you find something, you find a fact, double check that, and then find a source at whatever, make your own mind up. You don't need people, you don't need nobody to tell you to turn, you know what I'm saying, to turn left or turn right. You don't need nobody to tell you that. How about, well, if he's a fraud, who's gonna lead us? Man, I'm gonna say this. Oh, I'm sorry. And another thing. Damn. Another thing. What therapist, licensed professional, have you ever seen that would do a consult or session with a child's parent live on social media? What licensed therapist have you ever seen that do a live consult or counseling session with a parent and child live on social media? Do I need to say it a third time? Why? That's got fake and phony written all over it. Why? Who have you ever seen do that? Who have you ever seen do that? I'm sorry. Real quick, let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. What's up, Drew Titan, Reggie Owens, Rising Consciousness of the Capital Success Scholar page, and Black Anonymous. I appreciate y'all stopping through. It's been a while since I went live. But man, this buffoonery and niggerdom right here, I had to come in here and say I ain't never seen such a niggerdom. This man, look, the mighty. I don't know what to call this. I don't know what and the enablers, man. I mean, nobody can do nothing like this without enablers. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can burn your village down unless somebody open the gate. This individual right here. You know what? I tell you what. Let me ask you a question. As Black folk, right? Have you ever been somewhere? I don't care. I don't care how, you know what I'm saying, black you are, whatever. You ain't never. Have you ever been somewhere out in public and see some other another group of Black folk just doing something stupid, like being loud, whatever, and you like, let me get up out of here because you feel embarrassed? That's what this is. That's what, to me, that's what that is what this is. These people are like, every time I go on YouTube, like right now, my YouTube feed, my algorithm has been flooded with all this Umar BS. And then I take a special exception because then I got people saying, oh, he's saying he related to Frederick Douglas. Okay, so they saying, oh, what he's saying that he related to me. I don't know that fool. My mama don't know that fool. My dad, God rest his soul, didn't know him. My grandparents, great-grandparents, none of them. Everybody who I went through, back in 2013, when I first got home from Afghanistan, 14. I got home 14. I mean 13. I think this mess started when I got the phone call about this. Probably like 15. Doesn't matter. But I went down and asked everybody in the family, all the elders, everybody, like, do you know this? It's my name, Umar Johnson. We went by Jermaine. His father's name was Jamal. Do you know? No. And then that was over in Talbot County. So then I asked people in Caroline County. No. So I'm gonna say right now, no, he's no family of ours. Not one. Not related. Not even related. So, and then I have to keep reading that or whatever. And I'm like, man, it's like lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie. I mean, okay, I take it myself. Yeah, I'm a Bailey. My last name is Bailey. But everything that I've built has been on my own, in my own name. All that's on the wall and a bunch of it in boxes over there is just me doing me. You know what I'm saying? I will be doing the same thing if my last name wouldn't Bailey, because I am the type of person, if I see something that needs to be done, I think needs to happen, I'm going to do it. But when the nonprofit space, when I put together our family nonprofit, the Bailey Groce Family Foundation Incorporated, website is fdhill.org. We have a website. We have a mobile app for Android and Google. I mean, Android and Apple. Oh, we have a board. Imagine that. We have a board with a vice president, a CFO, and we have board members. These are things that you have to have when you go to apply for grants, when you know what I'm saying, when you put your paperwork in, all that stuff. They want to see who's working. You can't have a 501c3 with just you. It's like getting a RICO charge and it's only you. That's another story. We know that's that Diddy stuff. But you know what I'm saying? It's like how'd you have a nonprofit and it's just you? I'm not a lawyer or nothing, but I'm trying to figure out how you do that. I'm not giving no money to you if I don't know that you got a CPA, board members, a vice president, you know, something. I'm not seeing one person. What's up, Champion Heart? I ain't heard not one person. Oh, speaking of it, what happened to Ann McMillan? She done up and just went ghost. She was like she was like his number one. She was his bodyguard. Where the hell she go at? She done up and disappeared. Did Lennon Honor need to call her? Find out what happened. What happened? Man, that girl. The latest out. I'm sorry for calling her a girl. The young lady that's out right now, Miss Stone, she is hilarious. I mean, through all of that abuse and whatnot she went through and all that crap or what have you, whatever, she can come on the internet and actually laugh and crack jokes. That's a strong woman. That is a strong woman. She did not come on portray herself as being broken or nothing like that or whatever. If she is, she ain't showing it. And she darn sure ain't showing no level of fear. She said real quick, come up here slipping, you know what I'm saying? In which case, I believe every woman should have a CCW and should know how to shoot. Every woman should know how to shoot. But that's another subject. I'm not getting it. Somebody please make it make sense to me. At what point did anybody not see this coming? At what point? Siobhan Stone, that's her name. Thanks, man. At what point did anybody not see this coming? It's been over 10 years about this stuff with the school. At this point, Umar Johnson is not a scholar. He's not an educator. Matter of fact, he's not a therapist because he's not certified. Hasn't been for years. Somebody said this, and I think it makes sense. They said he's got all those degrees and all that education. He stayed in school what do you say, almost 20 years of his adult life to avoid the workforce. They said that he doesn't have the temperament to work with others. And you know what? That's seeming to be very true because he's not held a job. He's not held a job. He's basically been panhandling off the people all this long time. Back in the day, was a brother named was Dr. Makasa. Now, Dr. Makasa Ma'at had said that he when he first went on his campaign up in Philly and first started getting this money, getting the money for the donation, they said he immediately started gaining weight. And then his nephew said something about that the place or apartment or house or whatever that he had that he lost up in something Hearst or something in North Philly was an affluent neighborhood, meaning expensive. So what was he doing if he went? He wasn't working. He did not have a job. How could he afford that place? Not working, no job. At this point, if you're giving Umar money, you deserve to be scammed. You're getting exactly what you deserve, because ain't that much. You can't. Nobody can be that damn dumb. Nobody can be that daggone. And to get on the internet and defend it. Well, how is he supposed to do the school? He's by himself. He's supposed to be a nonprofit. He's supposed to have a board. What you mean he's by himself? He's by himself by choice. You know why? Because he don't want nobody looking at the money. He's getting all that money for himself. The champion Horn, I did. That's the first thing I said, man. Hey, Snyder hiring, Swift hiring. Hey, I bet you if you get his fat ass out there on that flatbed and move around that heavy tarp, he'll lose some weight. I guarantee it. But man, oh my God. You know what? It's so much stuff. I see why Len and Honor do 5-hour lives, because you can't, there's no way that you can break down this buffoonery in one video. You can't do it in one live. I don't care how, you can come on StreamYard and have a panel of 100 people. You will not be able to break this down if you did a 24-hour marathon. Because you know what? There's a greater problem here that goes bigger than Umar. It's the people that actually support him. Are we that desperate? Because this right here is a situation like how much different is this? Is like from Jim Jones or one of those people that led, you know what I'm saying? This dude's basically the Pied Piper. If you know the story of the Pied Piper, he's the Pied Piper. And when it comes to like the women and stuff like that, who said, I mean, maybe somebody can explain it to me, but there was, I don't know what happened. I caught wind of something, but they said that he caused a woman to have to pay a female, like some project he was a part of, and he caused the person, the head of it, to have to pay off this female because he lured the girl back to his hotel room and something happened in the hotel room. So in order to keep the girl quiet, the producer or whoever, the person in charge, had to pay this woman, had to pay a settlement to this woman, or she was going to come out about that Umar did something to her in a hotel room. And that's another thing too. If anybody calls you and says, "Hey, can you put together an event that I can come speak at in your town?" They don't throw up long bells to you. This person wants you to set up something in your hometown for them to come speak at. Why ain't that person putting some infrastructure on the ground in your town to come and speak in your town? Why would they ask you to front the funds and do all this other stuff or whatever for them to come speak in your town? I mean, I do speaking engagements, and I never once thought of asking somebody to put something together so I could come and speak at their town. If anything, I would go there and I would go to that town and I would rent out of a venue and not advertise. I'm not going to ask you to put up your money for me to come to you. Like you do the venue, you go do all this stuff, whatever, and not like you called me and said, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to bring you to town. I want to do this. What I'm going to do. Okay, you initiated. Cool, I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to call you and say, hey, I want to come to your town and do something. Can you go get the building? the refreshments, the decorations, you know what I'm saying, whatever, sell the tickets, blah, 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 and then give me $5,000 or whatever. No. But that's not the kicker though. Because at the end, he's gonna actually come back to his hotel room for some libations. Oh god. It's not funny. It's not funny. But it's stupid. It's really stupid. And what's stupid about it is that people are going along with it. They're defending it. If you can, yeah, libations, the little drinky drink. Did you? You seen the video? I think Leonard Honor played it, and it was Umar going into a liquor store, and you can hear the shopkeep in the background saying, "No gin today." And he said, "Oh no, I use the gin for libations. I just strictly libation. I use the gin for libation." You walk in a liquor store. Obviously, you frequent that liquor store a lot because the guy knows exactly what you buy. And you buy enough that he was surprised that you were not in there buying it. Normally, when something like that happens, it means that this person is going into this store multiple times a day buying the same thing. Like me. Okay, me. I like crabs. I'm from Maryland, from Eastern Shore. I had me a half dozen of number ones earlier. When they see my car pull up, or my pickup, or if I'm on my motorcycle, they see me pull up, they know I'm coming to get a half dozen of number ones, extra large. I might go up there a couple times a day. When I walk into the Chinese, I'm not a Chinese spot, the Pizza Empire spot, and I go in there, they know they know I'm more likely I'm going to get a large half mushroom and extra cheese pizza. These places know, if you frequent there, they know your habits. You know what I'm saying? So for you to walk into a liquor store, that's a whole nother issue. You walk into a liquor store, and the guy and you go in there to get whatever. You walk in the door, and I guess you got, maybe let's say you got a scratch off, and the guy says, "No gin today." That should tell you. To me, that it says something. Ain't that much libation in the world. It ain't that much libation in the world. And it wouldn't be so bad if he wasn't preaching all this clean living, vegan this, vegan that, all this, all this stuff. And you doing the opposite. Like smoking, Black and Miles, or whatever he said it was. I don't even know how to smoke, but I'm gonna smoke this for the ass. You ever know somebody that offer up a lie and you never asked them nothing? You never asked them a thing, and they just offer up a lie. What's up, Riley Martin? Yo, that's true, man. The girl said he's a hoarder. That's a mental thing right there. That's crazy too, because the girl said she tried to minimize some of the stuff in the house. In the house, and the dude went off over some cereal bowls. And somebody told me yesterday. She said that's trauma. They said that's somebody who grew up without, not having, always needing, and don't have, or whatever. So then they start collecting stuff because they get a little bit of money, and they start collecting stuff and hoarding it because they was brought up not having nothing, being poor, being broke, and also and what have you. Man, I grew up in a poor. I grew up in the Hill community, oldest free Black community still in existence in the United States, Talbot County, Maryland. I lived on Graham Street, and I think it was 1990 or 91. One of them, somewhere between 88 and 91. That my neighborhood was on 2020 as one of the poorest neighborhoods in the nation, and I don't hoard nothing. I throw stuff away in a heartbeat. If you start getting in my way, trash it goes. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. That's the reason why to this day I don't eat Honey Smacks, because you couldn't tell the cereal from the roaches. So I know about what it's like to grow up poor, grow up broke. You know what I'm saying? Our our apartments were so old that when they were first built, there was horse posts out front and uh what do you call it with back in the day was they put the horses in out in back. They were row houses. So that's not an excuse for being a hoarder, but it is a mental condition because it was also said, and I don't keep bringing his mom up because mom ain't got nothing to do with this. We was having Umar been a problem before his mom was ill and his mom was out doing her thing, living her best life. Umar was doing all this. So none of this stuff got anything to do with his mother. But they said his mom's a hoarder too. And mental health issues can be hereditary. They can be passed down, especially things like schizophrenia and stuff like that. I know a mother and daughter who both mother had full-blown schizophrenia. The daughter has the same symptoms but won't go get seen. I know people like that. I've seen it, and I'm pretty sure most of y'all have too. So yes, it is he does have a mental problem. He said, where are his family? They're strange as far as what the reporting goes. I wouldn't know. But as far as reporting goes, they're all estranged. The girl that came out said that Umar keeps a gun on his dresser because his brother said he's gonna whip his head. Gonna whip his tail. Oh my god. I've always been one for you know what I'm saying, self-defense or whatever. But you keep a gun on the nightstand because of your younger brother wants to fly that head. Oh, you know what? I've seen a lot of King Kong movies. King Kong never had a gun. That's all I'm saying. I don't get it. Black Anonymous, me and Black Anonymous go back a long way with this, and Mikasa, Dr. Mikasa, Africa, my aunt, go back a long way with this crap. You know what I'm saying? And I stepped away and hadn't said anything about Umar, and I know 5 years or whatever. But this right here, I had to come out and say something, because I mean, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result over and over again, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. If you think Umar is going to open a school, you may have some mental illness. If he did open a school, let's just say, for sake of argument, let's say that he managed to get the school open. He is not the person or capable. He's not capable. He's not stable enough or anything to run it. He would need to open it and then step aside. That, you know what? If that's what the community needs to be doing. The community needs to be saying, okay, Umar, you know, if you want to keep on going with the shenanigans, say, all right, Umar, okay, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna support you, get this school open. But guess what? I need you to get somebody, a principal. I need to get an administrator. I need to see a board. I need to see I need to know who's gonna run the school before I give you any more money. And I need for these people to come out. I need to see documentation that they've been hired. Because it's a great idea, but you're not the one. Because if there's something like, if this is tangible, let's say, which is not, but let's say it was, let's say it was tangible. He's not the one to run it. He's not of the headspace. There's rumors of drug abuse and the women's stuff or whatever. No, he'd be in there groping every young black boy's single mother, and more, and maybe some of the married ones. And there will always be drama at their school. There will always be some boyfriend or some husband up there ready to put their foot in Umar's behind, and it'd be cops up there constantly. And you know, say because like even Moses, Moses didn't get to see the promised land. You know what I'm saying? The people did, but he didn't. He had to stay on the other side. Sometimes just because it's your idea, don't mean it's going to be you that completes it. It's like myself right now. We're trying to build an African American culture center, African American culture center with a culture center on the first floor, lecture hall at the top, HBU satellite offices, a trade program, and the whole 9 yards of a healthy food program in the Hill community. We're just waiting on the county to see if the county is going to lease us the land, and then because it's where the health department used to be, and knock down the health department and build this 3-story building. And like I said, we have a board. We've received a $150,000 grant from Wes Moore's administration to put the first Black museum in Caroline County, in the entire county, the Anna Murray Douglas visitor site, which actually used to be my grandfather's house, and we go to closing on that August the 15th. We're $25,000 short, so we got hopefully the bank will make a donation of $25,000. The property is $175,000. We got $150,000. We need $25,000 to go to closing, and then we got a $250,000 renovation grant we applied for through the Maryland Commission of African American Affairs, History, and Culture, and then that money will go to actually refurbing the building. And we have a curator and a historian, Dr. Clara Smalls from University of Maryland Eastern Shore. See, this you got to have people in place. We got people in place. Like you can go on our website and you can look at people who's in place. You can pick up the phone and call our CFO. You know what I'm saying? You can call the curator, the lady who's going to be in charge of putting the history together and putting the stuff on the walls and you know what I'm saying, and getting everything situated, and the continued research, because this area is untapped with research. So you got to have stuff in place. You just can't up and say, hey, I'm going to build X, Y, and Z for the Black community, and I need you to give me money. I know you. I see you gave me 5, but I like rather had 10, but that's okay because I knew that's all you got. What? I don't even. When people donate to us, I say thank you, and I say your tax letter is in the mail. Tax letter. How many of y'all donated to Umar Johnson and got a tax letter back? You know, I know doggone well he didn't got over $2 million from hundreds of people, mainly single Black women. Do you think he sat down and drafted that tax letter or whatever, or put that template or whatever, and put that thing in an envelope and sent it off? You honestly think he sat down? He would sit down and do that, but he's got nobody in place, man. And then the nephew, you know, I got a son older than him. He remind me of, you know how when you were young and you had an uncle that you just admired so much, you know what I'm saying? He was, you know, he could beat up the world. You know, like I had an uncle, he passed away now. He lived out in Inglewood, California. He moved away from here way back in the 70s or whatever. And we as kids, you know, young men used to say, oh man, Uncle Timmy out there in California, man, he drive a Porsche, man. He got a black belt in karate. He this, he that, man. You know, say he making good money, blah, 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 or whatever. And then when we finally met him, dude was a crackhead. As kids, we had this big idea of him because he had moved away out of the country. You know, so we a bunch of country folk. He had moved out. Moved to California. You know, he was sending pictures back of his wife, and she was pretty, looked all glamorous or whatever. We kids. You know what I'm saying? And then my grandmother died. I seen them 2 times in my life. My grandfather died in 84, and then when my grandmother died in 94. And he came for my grandmother's funeral in 94. And this dude was asking my cousin, who, you know what I'm saying, who sang a little bit, you know what I'm saying, where could he get a bump? So, you know what I'm saying, my whole thing with this dude was shattered. You know, everything was shattered. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's what reminds me of this young man, He, in the interview with Lennon, he glorified his uncle, you know what I'm saying, to the point where, you know what I'm saying, it didn't seem like he could do any, that in his eyes, he could do any wrong. Excuse me for a second. I got this live going a little longer than what I thought it would. Give me a second. I'm gonna get beat up. I can see it now. Watch this. Hey, pick your mom up for me. I'm still on this live. All right. Hey, tell her. Well, never mind. Don't worry about it. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. I had to get my stepson to go pick my wife up when she get home. Hey, look. If you hear a loud bang and then the stream end, call 911. Anyway, because she caught tear my head up. And what was I saying? Yeah, the young man was he's idolizing or whatever, and that's what I got out of it, because listening to him talk reminded me of like my son. My son, you know, when I was overseas, he was I guess like 16, 17, something like that or whatever. And to hear him tell it, I was Rambo over there. But that's how young men look up to older men. So, you know what I mean? I ain't got nothing derogatory to say about that young man. You know what I'm saying? I hope, what I did notice is that he was very braggadocious, just like his uncle. I'm the most requested scholar. I'm the whatever. Man, like he a better hype man than Flavor Flav. You know, I've always been taught, you never speak on you. If your work is good as it claimed, they will speak. The work will speak for you, and other people will speak about you. But you should never have to say it. It don't mean that in the back of your mind that you don't say that you don't have some self-confidence or whatever. See, me myself, I like reluctant warriors. I like to deal with people who are reluctant warriors. You know what I'm saying? They can think of 101 places they'd rather be than here doing this, doing this nonprofit thing, this community thing. But they there because they see the need, and they got a giving heart. They want to give. And that reluctant warrior ain't gonna come in and mess around. He or she is going to come in and get the work done and leave, because they can think of 100 other places they'd rather be. That's the type of person I am. I'm a reluctant warrior. I can think of 100 different other things I'd rather be doing than run a nonprofit. I could think of 100 things but I see that it needs to be done. That's why I'm doing it. And I like people like, I don't know how many of y'all here are veterans or Army veterans, but you know how them E4s is. They'll try to sham their way out of some work in a heartbeat, and he or she is only going to be there for as long as he got to be. If you got a bunch of E4s, a bunch of specialists in the Army, and you got a bunch of them together, and you say, hey, look, y'all get this work done by lunchtime, and I'll let you go home. Man, that stuff will be done by 10:00. And they'll just be sticking around for lunch, and then they out. But no, see, I like them kind of people. You know what I'm saying? I need a tissue or something. No, I don't do no drugs. So I know some of y'all, because you got some people in here that go make a video that Terrence is messing with his nose. No, I spent the last 3 hours at the gym, and I got the sweating and carrying on, and now I feel like I got a boogie in my nose. Well, sweating ain't got to do with the boogie, but I'm saying. But anyway, this I don't get it. How? I mean, and then the two different women said that they saw what looked like an FBI file in his house. And we always wonder, True Black Anonymous, tell me if I'm wrong. We've always wondered for years, why haven't he been touched? Polite's in jail. The other boy, Nature Boy, whatever, he's in jail. You got this woman that actually sued this sued did anybody say something about that in the chat? The woman that sued the project manager or whatever because Umar did something to her in a hotel room. Yeah, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. He gives me R. Kelly vibes. He really do give me R. Kelly vibes. If you've listened to like I'm a Flirt by R. Kelly, I don't know. For me, they remind me of him. Yeah, you're right. Umar is a predator. If you go onto a TV show or a podcast, wherever it was that it was on years ago, and he told them people that he was celibate, and that's when Kim Ringgold came out and outed him. If I remember, there was Kim Ringgold, and then there was another girl. I can't remember where she was from. I want to say Canada, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me. That they kept saying she wanted to talk to me, but she was scared. Like she was scared. She was scared to come and say something, to come out. So like these girls, sell a bit or sell a bit. Hey, I don't know. Yo, when that girl said that he wanted his rear end massaged. And then she says, after all this stuff, this dude, you know what? I always say this. A accusation is a lot of times an admission. An accusation, a lot of times, is an admission. An accusation, a lot of times, is an admission. And if I say them 3 times, I gotta laugh. But a lot of times, when these dudes, so-called ultra masculine dudes, or whatever, be out here bashing people, like bashing LGBT and stuff like that, or whatever. I mean, you ain't got to agree with it, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? To each his own. Like me, I'm on my business. But when you go out of your way to talk about snow bunnies, gay men, and whatever else, smoking, drinking, a lot of times, them people is the one they be indulging in that. Remember who was that preacher from Atlanta? The one that was big on preaching against homosexuals or whatnot. Eddie Long, and then look what happened. Turns out he was flying them young men to islands and whatnot, and just as fruity as he want to be. You know what I'm saying? And then now look at Umar. He was talking about LGBT, talking about people drinking, smoking, drugging. This dude picking up white rocks up off the ground or whatever and looking at it, whatever. That's crackhead behavior. Talk about snow bunnies, white women, whatever. There's a lot of women that this dude to mess with that ain't came out yet. How much you want to bet a bunch there's gonna be some that come out as snow bunny? I don't believe we know actually how many kids this fool got. To be honest, I don't, because what they were saying the other day that he's got 2 that he claimed, that he's got 1 that he don't claim because the girl is like in her early 20s. It's like a 30-year age gap. Is she a snow bunny? Because like the stuff is unraveling, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff that he was preaching against or whatever, it's starting to unravel. Homosexual stuff. He asked a girl to massage his anus. He's got he's got a kid that he don't claim. Yeah, that's true. I think he's got more kids than he claims too. And for what reason is he in Africa for a month? What business would you have in Africa if you're not building anything? You're not founded anything or anything like that. As a so-called single man, why are you in Africa for a month and your mom, who you're the primary caregiver of, is back in somebody else's care, and you're going for a month if you don't have, particularly when a man does that, he has a family there. I understand they might still support him, but normally when a single man goes somewhere and stays that long, he's got a family there, or he's got a mate there, or at least that person thinks they're a mate. I was supposed to be in Ghana this past April. Right, well, he might be over there working on one. He might have one. I was supposed to be in Ghana this past April. It was for a ceremony and a fundraiser for the cultural center back here. One of our board members, Pastor Eric, lives in Ghana, and we had to cancel. We ended up not going. We put it off a year, but we were going to be there longer than a week and a half. There's not. I mean, once the fundraiser's over, you go around and meet all the supporters or whatever. It didn't take a few days to see the sites, because I wasn't going over there without my wife. Why am I going there by myself? There was no reason for me to go by myself. I was going with my wife, and it took us like, we've been over like three or 4 days. Might have, would probably been the ceremony and the right of return stuff, and then the fundraiser and all that stuff. Take a few more days to go around and see the sites or whatever. I was hoping we'd be able to shoot over to Nigeria, to over to Lagos. That wouldn't set in stone, but I was hoping we would be able to, and then come on back. There's no reason for it to be there. And again, like I said, I'm a married man, but as a single man, you don't have, nobody, period. I mean, in the nonprofit space, I don't think, unless you're, like I said, unless you're building something, you got an actual project going, which he said nothing about. Does anybody know anything about any money that's being raised, that any of your money that was being taken that's doing anything in Africa? I wonder, Anita McCrae says, I wonder how he's able to keep ahead of the Adult Protective Services with his mother. Somebody asked me about, how could you get a wellness check or whatever, and I said, all of the facts, I guess, allegedly are all on public platform right now. Everything's on YouTube. And so, like, any testimony that they would want to see or hear is on YouTube. The person who was there in the house has done several interviews on that subject. So anything, shoot, if you want to, if somebody was going to report something, they could send freaking YouTube clips of the interview, of those interviews and whatnot. They could contact that person or whatever. Like, you ain't, like I said, the thing with his mom, I'm not getting involved in that. Like I said, he been doing this before his mom was in his care. Period. His mom ain't got, I guess, that goes to show towards his character. You know what I'm saying? And the type of person he is. I mean, when she said he got a Bates way of going about this stuff with his mom. I mean, then that's crazy. I mean, shoot, my mom lives with me and my wife, but my mom gets up and do for herself or whatever. She just, I mean, gets up. I think everybody should, my opinion, you raise your kids because you raise your kids in a way that they will take care of you when you know, get up in age or whatever. You know, they say, you know, once an adult, twice a child. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in nursing homes, not for loved ones. A lot of people who go run in nursing homes want to give the aides a hard time. That's guilt. That ain't nothing but guilt. Because years ago, I was a nurse's aide. I was a professional booty wiper for a little while, in my early 20s, but that wasn't for me. But you see, you hear that he just doesn't answer the door when they come. See, you know, that's the difference between the city and the country. Now, see, down here, if the cops come to the door for a wellness check, don't answer that door. See what happens. They might not be able to do nothing right then and there. They probably won't kick the door down unless there's exigent circumstances or whatever where they feel as though they need to get into they see something, hear something to make them believe they have to get in right then and there. They'll kick the door in, but they'll leave and go to the commissioner and come back with some paperwork, and you will open that door. Now, there's a difference between here and in the city. In the city, man, them people don't care. A lot of them government workers don't care. They're like, man, my check gonna be the same either way. Open this door, don't. I really don't care. I'm not gonna be out here all night. It's cold, it's hot, whatever. I figure I've noticed that when I lived in Bridgeport, Connecticut, the mentality of the people is every man for himself in the city. It's not like that. It's not like that in the country. In the country down here, if you go down the road and your tire blow and you on the side of the road with a flat tire, somebody will stop and see if you're okay and help you change your tire if you can't change it. In the city, your car better not stop with a flat tire near where there's a mud puddle, because they'll splash you and keep right on going and laugh. No, sir. Now, so I mean that they passed the buck real quick, and I'm not saying it about all people, whatever. I'm just saying, like, it don't surprise me at all that they walk off because he won't answer the door. And that's another thing too. You wouldn't, ladies, all the ladies in here, if you were to go stay over a guy's house and he told you to turn the light off before you open the door, grab the package and hurry and bring it back in the house before you turn the light back on, wouldn't you think something? Wouldn't it tell you, be like, yo, let me get up out of here, man? He bugging. If I was a single man, I was over a female house and she and someone, I said, yo, you got a package on the porch, and she said, turn the light out. Man, when I open that door to go get that package, I'm going right to my car. Like, I ain't going to sleep around somebody that like that. That's crazy. They said, open the door, get the package, bring it back in. Turn the light on. Open the door, get the package, bring it back in, turn the light on. Open the door, get the package, bring it in, turn the light on. And you got 20 stoppers for one sink, 2 people, and 50 cereal bowls. If the refrigerator is so nasty that if I take a bowl of strawberries out and one of the strawberries hit the shelf, I gotta throw the strawberry away. Throw the whole refrigerator away. And mixed juices with you try to kill somebody. Now, I'm military, right? So I was always trained to never get in the shower barefoot. You always got some shower shoes, some little cheap flip flops or whatever, call them shower shoes. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you know, as a soldier, your feet are your most important thing. You don't want no fungus or nothing like that messed up your feet or whatever, because your feet's the most important. Keep your socks changed, whatever. But when the tub is so nasty, you got to come up in that joint with some Crocs. Oh, shower shoes won't do. You need some Crocs. That is nasty. I got a mutual friend. I have a friend that's also a friend of his. And I remember her saying, she said he was nasty. So I say, no, that's true. He nasty. See, this is why being a players never prosper. Bed hoppers never prosper. You know what I'm saying? You can tell a dude that's got a good woman because you can see it on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I met my wife the day I got off the plane from Afghanistan. We've been together ever since. It don't take. I see brothers that on Facebook. I see people that said, you look at their status, not status, but their when you look at the info, you look see where they're from, whatever, and it's been engaged since it's 2025, engaged since 2020. I ain't giving them relationship advice, but I got 2 daughters. And if my daughter called me and said, Dad, I'm getting married. Me and my boyfriend, we engaged. He's my fiance now. Congratulations, baby. When's the wedding? Oh, he said we're gonna wait to get some money together and we no. It costs $50 to get married. $50. Ain't nothing in your life gonna change when you get married but your last name. Spending a bunch of money on a wedding ain't nothing but feeding a bunch of freeloaders a lot of time, because a lot of people are going to be at your wedding. You ain't going to see them more for years, if at all. $50 at the courthouse is all it costs to get married. Don't be sitting there. Don't you dare. My daughter no better. Neither one of my daughters no better than to come and tell me that. The dude said let's get married and want to set the wedding for a couple years down the road because how about I gotta get this done. I get that ain't never gonna get done. You can get that done being married. The only thing changing your name. You still live, you live in the same house anyway, so like when you have a good wife or whatever, any man has a good wife, you can see it on him. Things about him will change. Hopping from bed to bed never prospered no man, never prospered no. All you can just sit around and sit around and you brag to other dudes, but it's emptiness. It's emptiness. It's I don't get it. I personally don't get it. And when I was a single man and I was out there dating this one, that one, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'll speak for myself. I dated with a purpose. If once I realized that she wasn't wife material, bye. You know what I mean? But for all these women to have the same or similar story, oh yeah, he asked me he called me, I called him about my son or whatever. And didn't he have a girl who was autistic or something, forced her to get to sexually service him? I don't understand how this guy is not in jail. Why is this guy not in jail? At this point, if you know something this guy did, he did something to you, and you're not saying nothing, and then he does it to somebody else, you're part at fault. You're a part of the problem. You're a part of the problem because you should have spoken up. Don't be one of these females or males. Don't allegedly. They decide they want to say something 20 years later, and then wonder why. Well, please believe me. That was 20 years ago, according to you, that allegedly happened. Now, some of these females, this was going on for over 10 years. So some of these females probably have these stories going back as far as 8 or more years ago, allegedly. And you didn't say nothing. And now here's somebody else done popped up. And there will be more. And every person who's not saying nothing might as well have been in the room when he did whatever he did. If you're not saying nothing, you're just as much at fault. That's my personal opinion. I don't understand why some man has not beat the brakes off of Umar yet, because Umar don't put himself in the space for those type of men to get at him. Think about it. Anytime, how many men have you ever seen in Umar's space when it came to these events, anything like that? He had Ann McMillan, female. Who's these other females? And none of them stick around long. They don't. Then nobody sticks around long. When you're constantly going through people, it's not the people, it's you. If all these people are saying the same thing, they all can't be lying. They all can't. What they say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. That was a volcano. That was more than fire. That was a volcano. We're going to take a break real quick. I'll be right back.
Ready? Yeah. Okay. Live from 16th and W Street in Old Anacostia, Frederick Douglass's neighborhood. My name is John Muller, author of Frederick Douglass in Washington, D.C. Line of Anacostia. I'm here with Terrence Bailey, an original Graham Alley Douglasonian from Easton, Maryland, on the eastern shore of Maryland, Talbot County, Maryland. Someone who has a close connection to Frederick Douglass. We're very glad that Mr. Bailey, a retired United States military serviceman, is here with us. It's a very special day, and I just want to thank Terrence for being here first and foremost. But Terrence, can you maybe, for Joel, tell us why it's important for you to be here today, or why you're here today?
I think it's important that that the Hill community of Talbot County and Old Anacostia begin to work together and build a bond between the two. You know, they both were places. Well, Frederick Douglass lived and worked here out of Anacostia, but he had ties to the Eastern Shore too, and he was born in Talbot County. And there's just as much enthusiasm in Talbot County as there is in Anacostia, and it has a lot of family in Talbot County. So I think it would behoove both communities that there be a coalition that we work together to preserve the legacy of Frederick Douglass.
So Terrence is a little soft-spoken. He's not going to tell you a lot. He's pretty reserved, very proud, very dignified fellow. Comes from a very dignified, proud family on the Eastern Shore. And I just wanted to share with you, Joel, that there are two churches in Easton, Maryland, that Frederick Douglass has a direct connection to. One, Asbury Methodist Church. Asbury Methodist, right?
Yes.
Asbury Methodist Church, which is in Easton. Tell me the street, or what's the corner?
That's on Higgins Street.
So Higgins Street in the Hill neighborhood in Easton.
Gotta be smarter than the computer. Gotta get off mute first. Good night, Anita. I hope to God, man, that people start getting wise and start actually calling this out. You don't need to be calling out Umar. You need to also be calling out the people who have him on. You know what I'm saying? With Joe Button and all of them or whatever. You need to be calling them out because they're a part of the problem too. When you entertain BS, you spread BS. You know what I'm saying? You know, a clock is right twice a day, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody get out there and spit some pretty words and what have you. I mean, at this point in time, the dude is not a scholar. He's not an educator. He's not any of that. He's an entertainer. That's it. He's an entertainer. He's not none of the stuff that he had came out and said he was. He's not a scholar. He's not a member of Black Legacy family. He's not any of that. None of it. He's not someone he's not someone for you to be giving your money to. That's for damn sure. Because, all right. Okay, so he bought those buildings, so they're gonna make it to a school. Who actually in their right mind would send their child to that school? The water is not, you can't drink the you can't drink the water. You can't drink the water. It's full of sexual predators in the area. There's liquor stores. It's one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the nation. How are your kids going? Now, these are a bunch of single moms. Probably some of these are probably low income moms. How are you? There's no. He said nothing about no school bus service. How is your kid getting to school? Even private schools have school buses. Who have you seen come out and say that they interviewed for a job at this school? Who? We know he's not fit to be administrator, so who's going to administrate it? The idea of the school is a great idea. Matter of fact, now think about it. There's a dude from St. Croix, him and his wife is from Cape Verde. They came to our town and they've opened up a school and they did it in less than 5 years. It's called BAM, Building African American Minds. They have a whole full-fledged school and was done in no time. Baba David has him on tomorrow at 12 p.m. Word Video is a well-known platform in this area. What area is that? What area? They've had Al. Oh man, little Al Sharpton's another scammer. That dude took that money and interviewed Kamala Harris and didn't ask her no real questions about the black community or plans for what he's supposed to be champion. Philly and Delaware, that's not Delaware, that's my area. So yeah, call into that, man. There used to be a group of people. I don't know if they still do it or not. I don't know if Black Anonymous is still here, but it used to be a group of people that anytime that he had a venue or something going on, they will call in and try to assume that these people didn't know who he was or what he was, and call in and try to hip him to it or whatever. And I mean, like I said, at this point, if you were entertaining it, you're part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody has heard of Umar. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like. It was I think it was like 2000. I think it was like 2015. I got a phone call at 9 o'clock at night from my cousin asking me, do I know who Umar Johnson is? And that's I'm like, no, I never heard of him. So it was like, well, we need you to get a hold of him or whatever, because he's claiming to be related to us and we don't know who he is. And he's raising all this, and he's probably raising this money and whatnot. And it's by all, it appears to be a scam. So I went through Umar's social media and I found his number. And I called him. I called him, he didn't answer the phone because obviously he screens his calls. So I called him. He didn't answer the phone, left a message. He called me back. And we was talking. I said, well, I never heard of you. And this is the narcissism. He says, well, that's okay if you never heard of me. That's okay. That's completely all right if you never heard of me. But I am, I do this and I do that, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what he said word for word, but he tried to justify why I should have heard of him because I'm Black. I'm like, dude, no. And so, and we had a little conversation with him. We got the phone, and then he immediately goes on. I think he put something on Instagram or something. It's like the women said. He gets emotional and then goes right to social media, and then you know, so you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we came out and basically, you know what I'm saying, dispelled all this stuff, whatever. No, he's lying, he's not, you know, whatever. And then he, the same way how he did that, he did Miss Stone, they tried to do to me. You know, send his cronies or whatever, making YouTube videos about me and all sorts of kinds. So there's one dude that calls himself Solar Mind. Now this is back before, that YouTube page, Hip Hop News, the dude God. Before he got big with that, he had a podcast with this dude that called himself Solar Mind, this freaking idiot. And I told God back then, I said, yo, you pretty good at what you do. I thought you need to get away from him. But anyway, they got on there like making, had this like long video about me with a bunch of lies, whatever, right? So I got that to do, and then he took it down. And what else happened? I got at him, he took it down. And then somebody made a Facebook page. Like, you remember, I don't know if y'all remember, I don't know how long y'all been around, but there was one dude that made a page called, there was an individual that made a page called a Facebook page called Umar Johnson's a fraud. Well, somebody thought it was a good idea to make a Facebook page and call it Terrence Bailey Sr. is a fraud. And then put pictures up of my wife on this Facebook page saying he don't know what to do with that. He need to let me hit that. And all this other kind of just vulgar, ridiculous stuff. It probably was Umar himself that did it. But the page got taken down. But it was probably Umar that did that. Thinking that I'm the one that was behind Umar Johnson is a fraud Facebook page. Probably little does he know that page was not even American based. You remember that Black Anonymous when they had that Facebook? I don't know if it was you or somebody that hit me to that. It was taken down within 24 hours. It was gone. But it was, and then we had the individuals that were coming out. Okay, so because you know what I'm saying, I told the truth about, you know what I'm saying, about relationships and all the kind of stuff, whatever. Okay, so now I'm an agent. You know, made this post about me. It's like, no, I think he was doing a meet and greet somewhere. I think he just did a speaking engagement. And somebody said, "What about that dude Terrence Bailey, man? What's it?" He's like, "Terrence Bailey is a relative. He's a relative of mine because they ain't not family. He's a relative. It's family, something different." And I believe he's former military, and I believe he's an agent. I'm not the people saying they finding FBI files in their house. Make that make sense. How all these other guys in the conscious space is getting arrested, but you. And he done probably more stuff than the ones, just as much stuff, if not more, over a longer period of time than these guys that's locked up. But man, I don't know. I'm gonna say this, man. Lennon Honor is doing a great job. I like how, you know, saying, like, there's been a progression in his channel. He's gone from, like, his channel now is put together, so his channel is tight. His research is on point. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is, most stuff is alleged, but the way he lays it out, there's no room for gaps or anything like that. Like, he lays it out. He lays it out good. And the young lady that came out against him, Miss Stone, Lenore, you need to make her your co-host. You need to make her your co-host, because, man, that one show I watched, man, y'all funny. And I'm trying to drive and listen to y'all, and I almost had tears running down my face. But anyway, man, I didn't mean to stay on this long, but I appreciate y'all for coming in and participating. And no, he hasn't. I've never spoken to Lenore. I've never spoken to. They jack that dude's name up all the time. Yeah, but look, I appreciate y'all. And look, check out our website, fdhill.org. Download the app and the app we got an app for it's on Play Store for Apple and Android. February 14th of 2026 is the 208th birthday celebration of Frederick Douglass in Eastern Maryland. The flyers on the website. It's a gala. It's not only Uncle Frederick's 208th birthday celebration, but it's also the launch of the Frederick Douglass Society of African American Affairs, History, and Culture. We're creating an African American Historical Society for the entire Eastern Shore of Maryland and the greater Chesapeake area. So far on the executive board, we've been on there's three different parts. There's the advisory and fundraising board, and then there's the general board, which is made up of no more than two people from each county on the Eastern Shore, and then the executive board is made up of Black legacy families. So far we have the Bailey Douglas family, we have the family of Harriet Tubman, the family of Dr. James Still, the family of Bishop Alexander Wayman, the family of Reverend Nat Turner, and we're waiting for confirmation from Dr. Ilyasa Shabazz to join the executive board, which it will grow. I'm not saying that we're trying to unionize the Black historic families, but we're trying to get all of the Black families, all the historic Black families together to start working together because people like Umar. So we're bringing together a lot of the as many of the Black legacy families as we can to be on this board to start preserving the history on the Eastern Shore. I don't know how many of y'all know anything about Eastern Shore of Maryland, but Eastern Shore of Maryland has produced more Black leaders who shaped the course of this nation per square mile than anywhere else in the nation. You have Frederick Douglass is from Eastern Shore, Harriet Tubman's from Eastern Shore, Henry Highland Garnett's from Eastern Shore. It's the birthplace of gospel music, which is on Eastern Shore, and a whole bunch of other folks. Moses Vernay, man, there's a whole bunch of people that were born on Eastern Shore that actually shaped the nation. So we're trying to preserve that history, and also trying to actually give Black legacy families some rights over their family history. If you're talking like if you got Harriet Tubman's family in a room and you're talking about Harriet Tubman, you're talking about them because that's their family name. Henry Highland Garnett, same way. Reverend Nat Turner, their family actually committed to this a year ago. For all y'all that don't know, they actually owned the property where Reverend Turner was actually captured. And the messed up part about that is there's a guy down there in Southampton County that his ancestors were some enslaved women hid this white guy's ancestors so that Reverend Turner didn't find them, that they didn't get killed. But he's a descendant of those slave masters who were hidden. He's a descendant of them. So he has all of Reverend Nat Turner's property. That property has not been turned over to the family. The sword and all the other little paraphernalia that belong to Reverend Turner, that should belong to the family. He was tried, convicted, and sentenced. They executed. They could at least give the family back his belongings. They did not. So this guy makes money off of showing this stuff, and then he got grants to preserve the houses of the slave masters, and not the farm where Reverend Turner was captured, or because the family owns that farm, and they're basically cut out of all their own history down there or whatnot. So them being a part of this African American Historical Society would bring more people together so that we can actually help them down there, and to be able to get Reverend Turner's story actually really told on a mainstream level. So my boyfriend's family is from the Eastern Shore, Accomack, Virginia. I think it's called. I think that is considered Eastern Shore. That's Eastern Shore, Virginia. I used to live in Painter. I got family in Painter. Matter of fact, my big sister still lives down in Accomack County. I know exactly where that's at. It's right on 13. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I appreciate everybody for coming in. And Conquest, no. Ayers. Last name Ayers. But on that note, thank y'all. And don't get that boy no money. Peace.